Hey guys, Joe here, back to the word. In this video, Nicea and the Nicene Creed reads for 2025. Some of the things I'm reading and some of the things you might consider reading as well. Celebrate 1700 years of Nicea. This is a special February 2025 book briefing episode, and I hope you'll enjoy hearing what I'm reading and some things you might consider reading, as 2025 is the 1700th anniversary of Nicea, the Nicene Creed, and Nicene Trinitarianism. So the contents of this video, I'm going to be walking through them. They're time-stamped. You can hop to the section that most interests you, is books on Nicea and the Nicene Creed that I plan to read in 2025. Other books on Nicea and the Nicene Creed that you might have or might consider getting and reading during 2025. Also, other books on the themes and contents of Nicea that I have or would recommend. And then also I'm going to talk about my Nicea video playlist and some conferences around Nicea that are coming up throughout 2025 that you might be interested in. So if you have questions about the books I'm going to be talking about or ideas for videos, let me know in the comments. And as I've already mentioned, everything in this video is timestamped, so you can hop ahead to the section that most interests you. So first off, books on Nicea and the Nicene Creed that I plan to read in 2025 to celebrate 1700 years of Nicea. So they're in order I'm putting here of probably easiest to read and access. And from that's based on the information that I have and personal preferences. So first up, if you only read one book on Nicea, I would consider and encourage it to be this book right here, The Nicene Creed, an Introduction by Philip Carey. This was published beautifully by Lexham Press in 2022. It's 248 pages, and it's a great introduction to Nicea, the Creed, its contents, and some basics as he goes line by line through the Creed, talking about what it meant for them, the development of it, and what it can mean a little bit for us today, and some of the ongoing conversations about it. So the book structure is really, you have a longer introduction, beginning chapter that sets up the kind of 50 years and what the conversations were and how the creed came about and was developed. And then you go straight into line by line, and he's talking about those lines, what they mean, and the theological developments around them. I have done a blog review of this book, and so I'll put that link in the description. I've also done a video review, and so cue the card in the top right there, as well as I'll link that in the description of this video as well. Another read that I plan to tackle this year is the Nicene Creed, What You Need to Know About the Most Important Creed Ever Written. This book is coming out from Kevin DeYoung in April of 2025 from Crossway. It's right now said to be 96 pages, and it's part of the Foundational Tools for Our Faith series. So there's the cover right there. I'll put the image up for you guys. I do not have this book yet, but it is one I am planning to tackle as soon as it arrives in my mailbox. Also, his series that this is a part of include the 10 Commandments, and he has a book on the 10 Commandments and the Lord's Prayer. Kevin DeYoung wanted to write helpful introductory books on some of the major documents of the Christian faith. So the 10 Commandments, the Lord's Prayer, and the Nicene Creed. And so he's done that for us in that series, and you can find out more from Crossway on that. The third book that I plan to read this year around the Nicene Creed is the Nicene Creed, a scriptural, historical, and theological commentary. So I have it right here from published in 2024 by Baker Academic, 240 pages. I believe both of the guys who wrote this are Roman Catholic, but I've had some really great Protestant and Baptist friends, pastors, others who have recommended this book. It's kind of a deeper dive, a little bit deeper than Philip Carey's introduction, because this is looking through a scriptural, historical, and theological commentary kind of lens. And so I'm really excited that Baker sent this to me for review, and I'm excited around June, which is really where the true kind of anniversary of Nicea happens. I'll probably be hopping into this book and sharing what I'm learning with you guys as well. The fourth one I plan to make it through, I've already started, is right here, this massive tome with the editor Matthew Barrett on classical Trinitarianism, retrieving the Nicene Doctrine of the Triune God. This is a compilation of 40 or 50 different authors writing 40 deep articles. I'm trying to read one of them a week throughout the year to finish this massive over 800-page book. And so I'm just really thankful for the work. It's work of theological retrieval. Dr. Barrett's done a good job. It is an ecumenical work, so there's Eastern Orthodox authors in here, Roman Catholic, and Protestant authors in here, but I've really been enjoying it so far and would recommend it from IVP Academic as well. So I know there are some others coming out. If you would recommend something, you know something that's coming out, would love to hear about it in the comments. And also, what are you potentially reading for the Nicene Creed anniversary in 2025? So, moving on to some other books on Nicaea and the Nicene Creed that I know about. I asked some people in Instagram land, Bookstagram, what they would recommend. And so here are some of the things they talked about, some things that I've seen and know are coming out and may get to, but might not in 2025. First up, having a version of the creeds, confessions, and even catechisms of the Christian Church. And I would recommend this one right here by Crossway. This is my edition, Creeds, Confessions, and Catechisms, a reader's edition, edited by Chad Van Dix-Horn. Quick 3 to 4 page introductions to each major kind of creed, confession, and catechism of the Christian Church. And I think this will be a helpful resource if you don't have something like this in your library. This may be a great place to start, not just for Nicaea to celebrate it and learn about it, but any of the other documents you wish to learn about. Another thing I wanted to highlight is the Lexham Press We Believe series. This is something I noticed and I was listening to as I was preparing this video and was like, oh wow, they're doing a series that's going to do about 300 to 400 page treatments on each section of the Nicene Creed. There's already 2 out. There's a 3rd one coming real soon, and there's promised 8 volumes in this series, so you might want to check that out. I'll link to the series page for Lexham Press in the description of this video. Another one that I found as I was researching and might actually get towards the end of 2025 is Nicea for Today, Why an Ancient Creed Still Matters by Coleman M. Ford and Shawn Wilhite. This releases in 2025. I'll put the cover up from B&H Publishing. It's promised to be around 180 pages. They did a really good work together with Crossway recently around pastoral ministry, ancient wisdom for the Church of God or something like that. And so I'm excited to see this book come out from B&H and see why an ancient creed still matters today from B&H. And so that might be a good one to start with. Some others I thought about is you could really hop into any church history or a historical theology. I'm going to recommend my favorite right here, Historical Theology for the Church. Well, maybe not my favorite, but one of my favorites. Historical theology is one of my favorite things to study. And I really like this from B&H Academic, fin-inducing with other contributors. This book walks through different eras in church history and shows how Christology developed around it through that period, different types, pneumatology, those sorts of things. And they actually have case studies at the end of each of those sections, and I found they have been really helpful. And so I know there's some in here regarding the Council of Nicaea, Trinitarianism, those sorts of things. And so maybe picking up a book you already have on the shelf, like this one, and reading a section on Nicaea would be a great route to take for you this year. From Instagram land, somebody encouraged me to recommend 2,000 Years of Christ's Power. There's a section on the Nicene Creed from Nick Needham in Volume 1 that's put out by Christian Focus. And so that's a series working through church history and kind of a historical theology type of thing. Also, someone recommended a short introduction would be Know the Creeds and Councils from the Know series by Zondervan. This one's way back in 2014, but it's only 192 pages, and that might be a helpful book as well. And if you have more recommendations, leave them in the comments. I'd love to hear anything you're thinking about reading on these topics. Last in this video, other books I would recommend on the themes and contents of Nicaea. So this is not necessarily on the historical moment of the Council of Nicaea or the Nicene Creed that came out of that council and was developed and honed in and shaped over the next 50 or so years. But these are books that dive into the themes and contents of the Nicene Creed, Nicene Trinitarianism, those sorts of things. So one, I'm going to say another Matthew Barrett book, None Greater. This would be a great place to start on the attributes, or he actually prefers the perfections of God from this book. Baker, The Undomesticated Attributes of God. This book came out in 2019. It's 283 pages. And one of the coolest things is he has a glossary at the back, which is really helpful on all the definitions and things in classical theology and the study of God. Another Matthew Barrett book you might want to pick up, so that one's on God and his attributes and perfections. Simply Trinity, the Unmanipulated Father, Son, and Spirit, also by Baker. This one came out in 2021, and I believe he has a glossary at the end as well. Really great books from Barrett. Thankful for the work that he's doing. You might also consider picking up on the Trinity, Delighting in the Trinity by Michael Reeves, an introduction to the Christian faith. I read this during my college time at Cedarville University. Really enjoyed it, and I really need to get back and read it again. So you might be picking this one up to just think about the Trinity and learn more about it in 2025. Number 4, just kind of something else you might pick up, is Proclaiming the Triune God. Maybe you're a pastor, you're in your church, and you're thinking, well, some of those other things are way more academic. How can I talk about the Christian triune God in a way that will impact my people? This is a great book. So 4 authors have put this out from B&H, Matthew Barrett being one of them, Ronnie Kurtz, Samuel G. Parkinson, and Joseph Lanier. It says the doctrine of the Trinity in the life of the church. They were all together at one point on a church staff and did a series for their church talking about how it applied to the Christian life in their faith, in the life of their church, and they've taken content from that and worked it into a book to help us know as pastors, as well as others, see how the Trinity connects to the Christian life and how we might impart that to our people. And so I think this is going to be really helpful for those who teach, for those who lead, and for those who preach on proclaiming the triune God in the Christian life and in your church. Also, you might consider picking up something like this. So Daily Doctrine by Kevin DeYoung. 5 devotionals a week for the whole year. Little bite-sized, he calls it his tiny Turretin or his baby Burkhoff, mini bite-sized systematic theology bites. Obviously, I'm Baptistic. Kevin DeYoung is Presbyterian, so we have some differences, but I've really enjoyed going through this, and it's actually just back in stock from Crossway. It's been hard to get for the past few months since its release, I believe in October of 2024, so check this out. Excellent resource from Kevin DeYoung if you want something like that. I didn't pull it off the shelf, but over my shoulder you can see my Charnock, The Existence and Attributes of God 2-volume set from Crossway, which is beautiful. That is a deep dive into theology proper from a great Puritan, and so you might consider reading something like that or sections of a work like that in your library. So, last segment of this video, Nicea video playlist and conferences. So what I'm going to do throughout 2025 as I'm reading some of these books is I'm going to put up occasional videos on different assets and things that or features and things that I'm learning from Nicea, the Nicene Creed, and Nicene Trinitarianism. And so I'm going to add them to a playlist, and so I'll link that in the description of this video. So cue the card in the top right now. There's the playlist. As I put out videos that review these books, as well as videos on the contents of these books, and I'm learning with you guys and sharing, I'll add those videos to that playlist. Lastly, there are some various conferences coming up. It's a time for people to focus on the Trinity, some different things, the doctrine of God, theology proper, the study of Him during this time to celebrate Nicaea. And so there's 3 conferences I wanted to highlight very briefly, and I'll put up kind of a splash page of their websites here on the side as I'm talking about them. As first up, we have the Credo Conference, which is tied to Matthew Barrett, Credo Mag. They're doing a Trinity Conference May 1st through 2nd, 2025 in Washington, D.C. This looks to be a great time. I'm not going to be able to make it because of travel and various different things, but this looks really great. I'm excited to see Michael Horton, Matthew Barrett. There's some others. Kevin DeYoung, I believe, is speaking for it. It looks to be a really cool conference for those who are in the area or those who can make it to study the Trinity with others at that time. There's also the Nicea Conference, October 22nd through the 25th. It's more of an international conference in Istanbul, Turkey. There's the website right there. I'll put up some stuff. This came to my radar because I believe Al Mohler's being a part of it. The last one I'll mention, this is something I plan to go to with my church once again, is the Cross Conference, a conference for 18 to 25-year-olds. It's focused around missions. And I'm bringing this up now because their theme for 2026, the very beginning, January 2026, is like no other, and it's going to focus on the Trinity. And so that's early 2026 in Louisville, Kentucky for 18 to 25-year-olds and their leaders. So if you know more, let me know in the comments. Just thankful for people getting together and celebrating and kind of studying and looking fresh and anew at our Christian heritage and what we believe about God and the Christian triune God from the scriptures, which obviously are more superior than the creeds and confessions, but the creeds and confessions are helpful tools to distill what we have in the scriptures and allow us to confess that and share it with others. And so I'm thankful for that. As always, other book briefings that I've done are in a playlist below in the description of this video. If you have questions, leave them in the comments. More content's coming out, so if you want updates as they come out, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss future content from me. If you like this video and you want more people to see it, hit the thumbs up. That helps the algorithm. So this channel is Back to the Word. It exists to equip and encourage you to read the Bible, good books like the ones I just mentioned, and to have conversations that truly matter. I hope this was helpful. Until next time, continue to read, treasure, follow the Word. God bless, and I'll see you guys soon.